You know, everybody's been talking about real estate lately, flipping houses, rentals, Airbnbs, wholesaling, right? I mean, it seems like the market is more crowded than ever before. If you've already tried those outdated real estate strategies, well, you already know how cutthroat it is. But what if there was a whole area of real estate that has passed most investors by completely with a fraction of the competition? A way to invest that doesn't require tenants, repairs, or even stepping foot on the property. I'm talking about flipping vacant land. Yep, the stuff you see right behind me. And no, this isn't some overly complicated process with small profit margins. It's actually one of the simplest and most profitable ways to make money in real estate right now. Imagine this, no more cold calling, no more dealing with tenants calling you in the middle of the night because your toilet broke or something like that. No more putting hours of labor and thousands of dollars into a fix and flip. None of that. You don't need to fight over overpriced houses in a competitive market. That all goes away. See, instead, you'd be tapping into a market with almost no competition, where you could find thousands of deals that no one else even knows to look for. And the best part, you can make 5 figures in profit from a single deal time after time, like I'm about to show you in this video. So if your current real estate strategy has you overwhelmed, I want you to stick around, okay? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break down exactly how land flipping works and why it's the best kept secret in real estate investing right now. And just so you know, it's something I still do on a regular basis. Actually, one of my properties in northern Florida. Okay, it's working for me with incredible results, but it's not just me. It's people like Brenda, stay-at-home mom of 2. She closed her first deal and made over $21,000 in profit. People like Mike, full-time 9-to-5er. He got his first deal signed. It was a buy for 70, sell for 190. People like Aurelio, who got his third purchase agreement locked up, a buy for 35, sell for 45. So let's head back in my office really quick. It's hot as hell out here, and I will show you everything that you need to know about flipping land. All right, so here's what an average land deal looks like, okay? We send out cheap, regular, old-fashioned letters to landowners with our offer for their land. Now, what most people in the space do, which, excuse my French, it's completely ass backwards, is they try and just send out these lowball offers to sellers at 30 to 45% of market value. And the problem with that is the sellers won't even call back because the offer is so low. Right? This is a game all about getting leads to call us. So we take the reverse approach, okay? We typically offer about 50 to 55% of the land's value. And because of that, we're closing about 1 out of every 5 leads that we get, compared to most people who are closing about 1 out of every 30 leads, since they're relying on essentially just lowballing people and hoping that someone calls. Now, we don't make any improvements to land, okay? We're just getting regular, unused, vacant land. We then get a local realtor in that area to sell the property for us. So they take the photos, they meet with the buyers, they handle the negotiations. They take the process of selling the land off our plate and just do it for us. Now, we pay these realtors on commission, okay? So it's not like it's coming out of our own pockets because we just work their commission into our offer price, right? And right now we're averaging around $10,000 in profit per deal. Obviously, sometimes more, sometimes less. This is our average, okay? So now you're probably wondering, all right, well, why would someone ever sell their land for quite literally half off? Let me explain. The majority of the land in the US is owned by the baby boomers, okay? So these are people in their 60s, their 70s, their 80s. And they bought the land so long ago that when they bought it, they got it for quite literally pennies on the dollar, right? And most of these sellers, well, now they're at a point in their life where they don't have a use for the land, okay? So maybe they bought it to build a home on, but their plans changed. That happens a lot, right? Or maybe they bought it to go hunt on it, and now they're too old to actually keep up with the maintenance on the property. Or maybe they wanted to pass it down to their children, but their kids have no interest in it. Right? So these are all very common reasons. Now, these landowners have this vacant, unused piece of land that is sitting there, sometimes for decades, that they have to keep paying taxes on, and they have to do upkeep on, and they're not even using it, right? And because it's just an empty piece of land that they're not using, they don't have the same emotional attachment to it as they do to a house. So they're willing to let the land go at a discount rather than hold on to it forever. They would prefer to just get cash and let it go. And look, because we're offering more than most other people, we're actually creating a win-win deal here, okay? Where the seller is actually making money selling the property to us compared to other real estate niches where sellers either lose money and they're only selling because they're in distress, right? That happens a lot in wholesaling houses, but not over here. Now, this concept is the same reason that I was able to get this deal in Johnson County, Illinois locked up. We bought it for $50,000 and we sold it for $120,000 37 days later. The reason why is because the seller accepted $50,000 for this land because he was in his late 70s. He didn't have the time or the energy to keep up with the land, and he bought it so long ago that he actually walked away from this deal profiting tens of thousands. Okay, so that's a win-win. You're probably wondering, okay, well, who is actually buying vacant land? Well, actually, tons of people. Campers, hunters, people who are looking for land to build on, right? People who want more space compared to, being in a cramped up city. Like this deal I sold in Hamilton County, Florida. It's a pretty rural area in northern Florida. It was a 6-acre piece. The buyer wanted to be able to build a house and have some land in the back so he could have, space to roam around and do stuff compared to being cramped up in a big city. Right? Also, people who are looking for an investment that is safe and reliable. Right now, a lot of people feel that land is a lot safer to invest in than houses because it's not as affected by the economy as houses are, right? So especially in today's market, the buyer pool for land, it's skyrocketed, meaning there's more demand than ever before for land right now, okay? Now, the important thing of what we do is that we're only targeting areas in the U.S. where there's already demand. Okay, so we're not wasting our time on areas where land is selling slowly. We only target areas where there's proven demand and is selling in 90 days or less. Like I mentioned on that deal I just spoke about in Hamilton County, Florida, that deal sold in 67 days. So we got on the market on April 18th and we sold it on June 25th. And that's why I targeted this area, because I knew land was selling in under 90 days. And in a second, I'm going to show you exactly that process that we go through to find these fast moving markets. So you're also wondering, okay, well, where do I get the money to actually buy the land? Well, you don't need any, okay? And if you did, I just give you access to the same people that I've used to fund my deals, okay? You can simply JV with them and they will front all the money for the land and just split profits with you when you sell. They don't care about your credit. You're not taking a loan or mortgage, nothing like that. Just a simple JV deal. And this is the reason one of our clients, Khalil, was able to get his first deal, which he got, which was a buy for 50, sell for 100. It's not like he had $50,000 just lying around to buy a land. And so what I did is I got him connected to the same people that I've used to fund my deals, so he didn't have to use any of his own money to actually get the land. Now, what about improvements and actually doing stuff to land? Well, this is the biggest difference between houses and land, okay? We don't need to make any improvements. In fact, we never do, right? We simply sell the land as is, okay? So there's no tenants to worry about. There's no things to fix. There's no repairs. It's simply just vacant land. I'm talking dirt and trees, right? And we never go see the properties in person because, like I mentioned before, we have a local realtor in that area who's going out there for us, right? They're taking photos. They're walking the property. They're essentially our boots on the ground, our eyes and our ears, okay? You also wonder, well, what if I make a bad offer or I can't find a buyer for the property? Well, number one, I wouldn't let that happen because we review every deal that comes through to make sure you're only getting good deals. But beyond that, look, if you go to get a JV funder to fund your deal, well, they wouldn't fund it if it was a bad deal, right? So you have these built-in safety nets. Now, with land, we give ourselves time to find buyers, okay? See, we typically give ourselves about 90 days to find buyers, unlike houses where people want you to close in 2 weeks, right? So we have way longer to find buyers for the land. And if we don't find one in that time frame, there's no risk to us because we can just cancel the contract, right? The contracts that we use, they allow us to cancel the deal at any time for any reason. Okay. And unlike houses where you need to have a proof of funds or you need to put earnest money down, with land, we don't need to do that. It's just not a standard practice to have proof of funds or earnest money in the land industry. Okay. You're also probably wondering, well, what if I need a license to do this? Do I need that? Well, no, you don't. And beyond that, we use realtors anyways to sell it for us. So they have a license, so there's no issues there. And what about how much time it takes? Like, let's say you work full time, you're wondering, how can I do this on the side? Well, this actually works better for people who work full-time. See, because we're sending out mail, okay, and we're getting motivated leads to call us, we only need to work a few hours a week on the business because the mail really does the heavy lifting for us. And this is the exact reason why someone like Tyler, who works full-time, he's got 2 young ones at home,
Well, he was able to get his first 2 contracts locked up despite the hours he works. All he did was just use some free time in the evenings and then on the weekends to be able to do this on the side of what he's doing full time. And beyond that, like we spoke about, we're getting realtors to sell the property for us, okay? So we don't need to spend any time there since they're handling that. So really, all that you're doing is just talking to motivated sellers once they've called you and decided that they want to sell. Pretty simple, right? And you're also probably wondering, okay, well, what about competition? Is there competition in the space? There's competition in a lot of other things. Well, let me ask you this, like, what competition, okay? Look, right now, there's 140 million houses in the US, okay? There's 5 million wholesalers and house flippers, meaning that there's only 28 houses available to them. Now, with land, there's over 25 million individual lots of vacant land in the US, and it's estimated that there's only around 3,000 flippers across the entire nation, which means there's over 8,000 individual lots per flipper, okay? So essentially, there is more land than any one person could ever handle. Now, you need to keep in mind, it's not gonna stay like this forever, okay? Right now, the people who are in land and the people who are going to get in over the next year, they're going to have an unfair advantage, okay? And whenever there's an unfair advantage like this, it's only a matter of time before the masses catch on and cause too much competition. I'd say we have about a 3 to 5 year window to come in, capitalize, and to build a business protected from competition before it's too hard to get in and there's too many people who have flooded the market. Now, we do all this by following 4 simple steps. So, number 1, finding in-demand markets, okay? Number 2, getting sellers to come to us. Number 3, selling our deals. And number 4, scaling and automating, okay? So let's first talk about step number 1, finding markets. It's all about following the data, okay? We first find markets where land is selling quickly. So I'm talking 90, 60, sometimes even 30 days. And we do it simply by finding the major cities in a state, looking for counties that are 1 to 3 hours outside of it, and then targeting rural vacant land. First thing we do is we find a state that we want to work in, okay? I find that states in the Southeast, in the Midwest, they have the highest demand. They're the easiest states to work in. So we pick a state that we want to work in. Say we pick North Carolina, okay? It's a great state to work in. We're then going to look at what are the major cities in there and then look at the counties that are about 1 to 3 hours outside of it. So let's say we start looking at the Raleigh-Durham area. It's a very popular area in North Carolina. That area itself, it's going to be too competitive. But if we start looking 1 to 3 hours outside of it, we'll find the rural counties that we want to work in. So let's say I pick Caswell County. It's a great county to work in. It's very rural. I'm then going to go look at how fast the market is moving. So I'll go look at the numbers of active listings, and I get back 6. I then go and look at how many sold in the last 3 months, and I get 8. That means that in that area, over 100% of the land sells in 3 months. This is what we want to see. This means land is selling in 90 days or less in that market. Now, when we find markets where land is selling quickly, we solve one of our biggest problems, which is selling the land, right? And everything we just use is simple free tools to be able to find these markets in a matter of minutes. It's not very complicated. Once we've done that, we just put together a list of 5 to 10 counties that we want to target, and then we move on to step 2. Now, step 2, we are finding sellers in the markets that we're working in, okay? With some of these tools that we have, we can actually target the landowners that fit our criteria so that we're reaching out to the right sellers. Okay. What's important to understand is that we want to make sure we're reaching out to sellers of vacant land, not land with houses on it. Okay. Because those people won't want to sell. We're targeting people who have unused vacant land. But more importantly, we want to make sure that we're reaching out to the right kinds of properties and avoiding land that is undesirable. So land that you can't get to, or it has a bunch of wetlands on it, or the land isn't usable for some reason. So before we even send out our marketing, we can just remove all the pieces of land that don't fit our criteria, which means we can be more efficient with our marketing, right? Now, all we're doing once we have the list is we're sending them our offers via mail, and we're leaving a number at the bottom of our letter where they can call back if they're interested in selling to us, okay? So we're not doing any cold calling here. We're not chasing deals. We're just letting the motivated sellers come to us, and then we simply close the deal, right? Now that we've done that, we need to move on to step 3, which is selling our deal. So like we've talked about already, we're using local realtors to do that for us. So we find local land experts in the counties that we're working in who will go out to land for us. They're going to walk the property, they're going to take the photos, handle the buyers. They do all of that for us. And finding these realtors is easy because once we've picked a market that we want to work in, well, we just go back onto redfin.com, we go look at the sold land listings, and we just reach out to the top realtors in that area who have sold the most land, right? Pretty simple. And since we've already solved for demand and are getting land in areas with such a high demand, the land is essentially selling itself, right? Because there's the built-in demand. And then all the realtor is doing is just facilitating that process for us. And once we've done that, we now have a repeatable and scalable system that we can use to do deal after deal, which leads me to step 4, which is all about scaling and automating, okay? By using the proper systems and automations, we're basically building a conveyor belt that works for us, where a lead comes in, we close the deal, we sell the deal, rinse and repeat, okay? Because once you've done one deal, you know the process of doing a land deal, okay? If you can do 1, you can do 10. And the only difference between 1 deal a month and 3, 4, 5 deals a month is just doing more of what you already did, right? It's just repeating that same process. And the beautiful thing is we can put the proper people, systems, and automations in place that allow us to get our time back and to do deal after deal. When you do this correctly, this is when you have time freedom, because you only need to work a few hours a week on the business because you've automated it. You've built a system that works without you, right? You don't need to be in the day-to-day of the business. And when you get your time back, now you can start doing all the things that you want to do, right? You aren't tied down to a location. You don't need to go into an office every single day. You aren't tied down to being at a desk. You're not tied down to clocking in and clocking out. You don't have a boss that's telling you what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. See, once you've done this, you get to decide. You get to decide where you want to work, when you want to work, if you want to work at all, and whether that means spending more time with your family, traveling, or even doing more things in real estate, getting rentals, multifamily, some of these higher level things. Well, see, once you've done this, you actually have the money and the time to do all of those things because you've built a foundation. You've built something that is generating you cash every single month. And this is what serves as the launch pad to your future. So knowing what you know now, can you agree that all you need to start a land flipping business is number 1, finding in-demand markets where land is selling in 90 days or less. Number 2, getting sellers to come to us by sending out simple pieces of mail that generate motivated leads to call you. Number 3, selling your deals by getting realtors to do it for you. And number 4, scaling and automating by using the systems and automations that will allow you to do deal after deal and get your time back. If you can follow that exact process that you just learned, the path to 10K a month in just 90 days or less is nearly guaranteed. Because like we talked about, our average deal nets us $10,000, meaning you need to do just 1 deal a month to hit that. And let me prove it to you. If you're interested in this, all we're asking for today is that you apply for a call below, okay? So here's what I want you to do next. Underneath this video is a button to schedule a call. All you need to do is click that button and you'll be able to book a call to speak with us, okay? And you're gonna see there's a limited number of spots available within the next 72 hours. So you can schedule a call anytime available or until all the spots are filled out, depending on how fast you take action. And if anything I said today didn't make sense, when you speak to one of our consultants, they'll be able to fill in the gaps of anything. Now, before you book the call, I have to admit, unlike a lot of other programs out there, we don't accept everyone, okay? And I'm not just saying that. We literally only work with 5 to 10 new clients a month because that's all we can handle since we're working one-on-one with our clients. So with that being said, I don't want you to book a call if you aren't willing to invest in yourself, or if you're not willing to put in the work, or you're not coachable, okay? You see, after working with over 323 students, we have a really good idea of who's gonna be successful with this and who's not gonna be. And there's a certain type of individual that we know can make this work based on all the people who have been in the program. We wanna make sure that is you, all right? So unlike a lot of other people who, to be frank with you, are just trying to take your money and don't actually care about your success, we actually want to keep the quality of our community high, and that's exactly why we don't let everyone who books a call to actually move forward. Okay, and this isn't just some other marketing tactic. We actually monitor this number on a monthly basis because it's so important to us. And right now, we're only letting around 34% of people who book a call in. Now, obviously, that number might increase or decrease. Really just depends on who you are. And obviously, we want that number to go up, but that's where we are right now. So go ahead and click the button below now to fill out an application. Make sure you complete it, okay? Small details like that are important to us, and they're a good sign that you're going to be a fit for this. We want our clients to take action and actually get results with this. We don't want people who are time wasters or people who aren't ready to commit. You have to be coachable, and you need to be an action taker, not just some dreamer that just talks about it but never does anything, okay? We'll go over everything on the call to make sure that it's a good fit for the both of us so that you can be confident and sure that you're making the right decision. And let's just say it doesn't work out. That is totally fine. We still want to make the call worth your time. So you're not going to be leaving the call empty-handed. What we're going to do is we're actually going to give you actionable steps that you need to be a successful candidate in the future. Okay, so go ahead, click the button below now to book a call. Simply fill out the short application and choose a time that works best for you. And if you're still on the fence, look, I get it, okay? But after working with hundreds of clients, the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is that the ones who do, they take action. Now is the time to act. If you don't take action now, how would you feel if in the next 6 months you look back and nothing has changed? Your situation is exactly the same. Now, on the flip side, imagine you decide and you're going to commit. You go all in, and we give you the tools, the guidance, the one-on-one support that you actually need to build a land flipping business. In your first few weeks, you get your very first deal. And fast forward a few months, now you're consistently generating over $10,000 a month doing simple land flips, and your life changes. You can travel on your own terms. You can work from wherever you want, whenever you want. Even if you don't want to work, you don't need to work, because now you have the freedom. And everyone around you who may have doubted you at first, they're now asking you how you did it. You can have that future, but it all comes down to a decision today. Or you could carry on as usual and nothing changes for you and your life stays exactly the same. It's really your choice. This isn't for everyone. But if you're still here right now, chances are you want to go down the other path. So make a decision to start just like I did. And I want you to know, look, I'm not special. I'm just a regular person like you. So what changed? Well, I made one simple decision to start a land flipping business and to stop sitting on the sidelines of life and to start taking action in the direction of the future that I actually wanted to live. I want you to make a decision like that, and it could change your life forever. Like it changed mine, like it changed our students. So go ahead and click the button below to book a call now. Look forward to seeing you on the call.